Hello and welcome to the Diablo 3 launch day. So it's the first time starting it up. We are here at the character creation screen. So, classes that are available. We have the Barbarian. This stoic warrior uses tremendous physical strength to crush foes. The Demon Hunter. Ranged weaponry and shadow manipulation make this vengeful hero an elusive stalker of demons. The Monk, a holy warrior who attacks faster than the eye can follow, disabling enemies with precious blows, or precision blows. Witch Doctor, a manipulator of the forces of life and death, this shrewd caster wields the power of spirits in astounding ways. And we have the Wizard, a master of temporal and elemental energies powering creation itself. So, I was looking these over, and all of these seem fairly... They're a lot like other classes before. The Barbarian is a classic that's been here since Diablo 1. Wizard is as well, although I believe it wasn't called a wizard in the first two. Witch Doctor sounds a lot like the Necromancer. Demon Hunter sounds like, I believe there was an archer type class. Monk actually is the one that sounds somewhat new. I'm sure the others have different abilities and all that than they did in, or their equivalents did in other games, but the Monk is the one that sounds different. So that's the one that I am going to go with here. See if my name is available, and it is. So, here we go. Hopefully the volume isn't too loud.
The gods are in all things, and everywhere I see signs of change. The wind bears an unnatural chill, and my people grow uneasy. Now, fire burns the sky and scorches the vault of the heavens. I must carry out the will of the patriarchs. When they need to see, I am their eyes. Where they wish to strike, I am their fist. When they would ignite the light of truth, I am their torch. They have sent me to where the heavenly fire has fallen. My mind is clear. I will rid Tristram of the shambling corpses that have risen in the fire's wake. I smell fear.
Okay, so if there's two things you can always depend on Blizzard for in all of their games that I can remember, one is epic storytelling, and the other is badass cinematics. So, in terms of monsters, it looks like your standard fare. Zombies by different names so far. Classic of all the Diablo games.
The fallen star has upset the balance of this land. I seek it.
It fell on the old cathedral. There was only one survivor, Leah. You should speak with her.
Captain Rumford, more dead are coming.
We can't open the gates until we drive them back.
They keep coming.
I've never seen anyone fight like that before. Guards, open the gates. We'll find Leah at the Slaughtered Calf Inn.
Okay, so looks like instead of mana, monks have spirit. Not sure exactly what they use it for. Just look through. So we have the skills. So far we only have one. Level 3, 11, and 15. We get our next set of skills. Inventory, obviously don't have anything yet. One difference between Diablo 3 and the other two is in the other two, if you remember, different items took up different amounts of space. So like a dagger might only take up 2 spaces in your inventory, while a big axe might take up 6. From what I've seen so far, in Diablo 3 they all take up the same amount of space, which is kind of nice.
Burn those corpses before they rise again.
Quests, pretty standard fare so far, and then game menu. So now I'm looking for Leah.
Zakharum has fallen to disgrace.
And here she is.
Are you Leah? Rumford said you survived the fallen star.
I did, but it blasted my uncle Deckard Cain into the depths of the old cathedral. I tried to search for him, but the dead were already rising. I came back here to rally the militia, but... Watch out! The wounded are turning!
The gods favor me.
This is killing business.
The dead will overwhelm us all, unless something is done.
I will send them back to their graves. I will save your town.
Thank you. You should speak with Captain Rumford at the gate. He can tell you what to do.
So it sounds like I've unlocked a new skill. Lashing Tail Kick. Unleash a deadly roundhouse kick that is effective against small groups of enemies. So that is bound to right click, and then my main attack to left click. Oh, nice. Okay, so that uses Spirit, which it does not look like it regenerates on its own. I believe you have to actually kill stuff in order to regenerate Spirit.
16 militiamen went out, only Rumford came back. May the gods who abandoned us come to your aid one last time.
Thanks, I guess.
I will help you fight the risen dead.
I admire your courage, but Captain Dalton and the militia were slaughtered by those things. Only I survived.
That will not be my fate.
Well, I have seen you fight. Strike at the wretched mothers and their queen. They're the ones vomiting out these horrors.
They're attacking the barricades!
Yeah, so if you notice, as I kill them, my spirit goes up, so... Slightly different than some other classes that use magic or mana.
There are more of them in the ruins down the road.
I, Deckard Cain, have spent many years traveling and writing about the strange creatures in our world. But the sight of the wretched mothers still haunts me. They are the remnants of Queen Asilla's slaughtered handmaidens who were twisted by foul magic.
I don't have enough spirit.
Now they feast upon cadavers and regurgitate them as newly formed, risen dead.
Okay, so that lure thing is
I need
pretty cool.
spirit.
Don't remember seeing anything like that in the previous games. One thing I know also is when you're in multiplayer, the loot that drops that you see is unique to you. Only you can pick that up. Everyone gets their own. So you can't just go stealing other people's loot or anything like that. Which, sure, that takes away a little bit of the fun when you're playing with friends, but it does. If you're playing in the open and anyone can join your game, then it does make it a little bit more fun, because it means you don't have people just coming in and stealing all your stuff.
I am Abdal Hazir, adventurer, scholar, and researcher. I share my knowledge of this incredible world
I don't have
creatures
enough spirit.
through my insightful missives, often at grave risk to myself. Why, I was recently in Honduras, where my tents were ransacked by vicious quill fiends. I was able to beat them off with a shoe, but a less bold man would have fared far worse.
So, I'm pretty sure also, based on some videos I was watching, that Diablo 3 has exploding barrels and stuff like that, just like all the others did, except sort of like how you can't steal other people's loot, the barrels don't hurt party members. So like in other games, if a party member is standing next to an exploding barrel and you hit it, it would hurt them and possibly kill them. And in this one, it doesn't do that. And as far as I know, there's also no friendly fire, like when you're casting spells or anything like that, or with your arrows or anything of that nature, so... So right now I'm just looking for 2 more of the Wretched Mothers. And then I have to find the Wretched Queen. And so far it looks like just running near the loot, or at least the gold, is enough to pick it up. You don't have to actually click each pile individually, which is pretty nice, since that would be annoying if you did. And it was annoying in previous games. Okay, so I just need 1 more of those, and then the Wretched Queen. And those little orbs that drop randomly are just little healing things. Pretty useful, since it means you don't have to depend entirely on carrying around a huge stack of potions with you everywhere you go.
My understanding grows.
So one big difference I would say between this and previous Diablo games is, if you notice, I just got a new skill, but I can only assign 2, and that's because you only get so many skill slots, and you have to pick which of your skills you want to put in those. It's not like in previous Diablo games where you just had this a tree where you got points you could put into it, and whatever skills were unlocked, you could use any of them that you wanted to. And here you have to specify which ones you want to bind to your attacks, or to your hotkeys and your mouse, and that is all you can use. You can change them out at any time, but they're the only ones that you can use until you change them out. So it doesn't look like there's anything down here except for those few mobs are already killed, and quite a bit of gold, which is always good. Another very big change, and also pretty controversial, was the... not was, but is the auction house. So for those who haven't heard, There is an auction house that lets you basically pay, or not basically, it lets you pay real life money, real world money for in-game items, and you can sell your in-game items for real world money as well. Pretty controversial change, pretty big. It got a lot of press, at least in some circles. Pretty big departure as well from the standard practices. Most companies, including Blizzard with WoW, fight pretty hard to try to prevent players from doing that. I know in Terra and in other games, you can actually report people for that, and you can get banned if you're caught selling in-game items for real-world money. And now here in Diablo, it's not only allowed, it's actually encouraged. The big difference, though, is that you're using their system to do it, and obviously they are going to take some sort of cut. How much? I don't know. I haven't looked into it too much. Actually, I haven't really looked into it at all. I just know that it's there. So, definitely something that I will be checking out. Don't think I'm going to use it, but it will be interesting to see how it's set up and how it plays out, since there's a lot of concern that it'll basically be a lot like the free-to-play browser games, where, you know, the people who have the money to spend on it get this huge advantage, and they're the ones who always win. And for the people who can, they basically don't have any chance at competing.
The shadow of Diablo still hangs over this place.
But we'll see. Only time will tell whether or not that turns out to have been a huge mistake, or if it is actually really well balanced and works as expected. So far, graphics style is very similar to previous Diablo games. It's just big improvement in terms of quality over the, I think it's almost a decade since Diablo 2 came out. But the overall style is still the same. Definite improvement, though. So that was the wretched queen that I was looking for. So it looks like I can teleport back to town now. Just kill a few of these guys first. So far liking the monk. I mean, this early in the game it's really hard to say, since a lot of the classes are going to be, you know, equal fun to play. It's really later in the game, as you start to get levels, that they all kind of come into their own.
Thank you for your help, but could you talk some sense into Leah? She won't give up on the idea of rescuing her uncle.
Nor should she. I will help her find him.
Quest complete. That's also a new concept from previous Diablo games.
Come, let us search for your uncle.
We'll need to open the cathedral first. The guards locked it up before they were ambushed. Rumford told me they fought their way back to Adria's hut. The key must still be there. Here, let me open the gate. Adria was my mother, but I don't know much about her. She died when I was very young. I was raised by Uncle Deckard.
What happened to your father?
I'm told he was a great warrior who was lost when Tristram fell to the demons. Look! A hidden cellar. Follow me.
Your mother's secrets are here.
People said she was a witch, but I never believed it. Captain Dalton!
Okay, so for being a melee, this attack that I'm using now, Deadly Reach, has a pretty good range on it. Pretty fast attack speed as well, which is nice.
Here's the key, and my mother's journal. What I've seen of it is disturbing. I want to know more about her, but that can wait. We need to save Uncle Deckard first.
I will find your uncle. Stay here and find out what you can.
Thank you.
Caden came to me last night. I suspected what was lurking within his troubled heart. I consoled him as best I could. Regardless, wherever he's headed, hell will surely follow in his wake. The shadows close in on Tristram once again. But like Aidan, I'll be gone before they fall.
The mini-map is a definite improvement over previous Diablo games also. It does a very good job of pointing out where you need to go so you don't do as much just running around in circles.
Tristram Cathedral. The star fell here.
So back into the old cathedral. Anyone who played Diablo 1 should have very fond memories of this place. Some possible nightmares, depending on how old you were as well. So far, the feel of the game is very much Diablo. If you've played any previous Diablo games, you'll feel right at home. Just the way it looks, the way it's set up.
The grotesques may seem slow and senseless, but they hide many dangers within their hideously malformed bodies. A set of spikes lurks beneath the monster's flesh, and foul parasites nest within them. It is said that these horrors themselves are constructed by a greater evil, a darkness that I cannot even fathom.
So I'm just going through and checking all the items I looted, see if I can equip any of them. Already equipped a couple. Again, nothing too fancy so far in terms of equipment, just your standard fare. Pretty much equipping all of the stuff you find in the beginning just so you have some equipment.
It's inside me. Inside.
Not enough spirit.
So these records that pop up are also obviously new. Kind of like them so far. Doesn't seem like anything too overly fancy, just sort of like hit combos in other games. If you set new records for how many monsters killed or how much damage done in a certain amount of time, then you get a little XP bonus.
Oh, minions, stay back! Back! May this ledge hold. The Skeleton King.
The power of the fallen star awakened me, and soon all will suffer as I have suffered. Gods, bring me his bones!
So good old Deckard still being a badass, despite being probably 150 at this point.
I will save you!
Stay back!
I don't have enough spirit. I need spirit.
Thank you, but why did you risk yourself for me?
It was not your time, old man. Come, Leah is waiting for
Oh, it is wonderful to hear that Leah is well. I feared the worst. I learned of this secret passage through old maps I found.
Of course, Deckard knows of
We
a secret
must
passage.
discuss the fallen star.
Why? Because he's Deckard.
Follow me to Tristram.
So for those of you who...
you. I have kept my word and rescued Leah's uncle, Deckard Cain. I saved him from a creature called the Skeleton King, who now bars my way to the fallen star.
Okay, so what I was going to say is, for those of you who haven't played a Diablo game before, all one of you, Deckard Cain has been a central character to the storyline since the very first one.
Clear the way. I wish to pass.
Don't you dare lift a finger to help our mayor fix his life.
So I'm just doing a little bit of exploring real quick before I continue on with the adventure.
We have come at last to Tristram's old cathedral. This is where Diablo, Lord of Terror, first corrupted mankind. This is where I may finally find the answers I seek. Leah worries after my safety, but I believe information vital to defeating the last lords of the burning hells can be found here.
So just selling some of the crap that I picked up along the way. And picked up a new club.
And it is written, a fire will carve a furrow in the sky.
Uncle, you're alive!
Thanks to you, and your friend here.
Time runs short. Tell me what you know of the fallen star.
Not much, I'm afraid, though the prophecy of the end days surely points to it as a sign that the end has begun.
Please, Uncle, not more of your stories. All that matters now is that you're back.
My strength has increased.
So, looks like I got a new skill. Tempest Rush. Charge through your enemies, damaging and knocking them back. So we'll equip that one for a little while. See how we like it.
The Skeleton King was once our beloved lord, Leoric. He was driven mad by Diablo's evil. He lost both of his sons and his very soul before he was finally defeated. Now it seems he's risen to plague this land once again.
Nonetheless, the Skeleton King bars my path to the fallen star.
The key to defeating him lies in his old crown. Seek out our blacksmith, Hadrig. He knows of its whereabouts.
Okay, so another recurring character, King Leoric. He was defeated towards the end of the first Diablo, and it looks like he's back for more.
Not now. It's my wife. She's locked in the cellar like all those who've been bitten. I'm to put them all down. But how can I kill my own wife?
It is regrettable, but it must be done. I will help you.
Thank you. Follow me.
So it sounds like I have to help this guy kill some people before they turn into zombies, including his wife. And then he'll help me get the crown of the Skeleton King.
Friends, I'm sorry.
This must be done.
Okay, so it looks like I replaced the kick with a charge attack.
My love.
Looks pretty cool. Not the best setting to try it out in, so we'll keep it equipped for a while.
I couldn't have done this without you. I'm in your debt. My name is Hedrig Aemon.
As it happens, I am looking for King Leoric's crown. Perhaps you know it.
I can help you there. It's buried with his chancellor, my grandfather. You'll find his tomb in a cemetery in the Weeping Hollow. And if you see my fool apprentice out there, tell him to get back to town.
So, sounds like I have to go look for the crown now. And then once I get it, I can get to...
Stand your ground!
That ability is not yet recharged.
That's the last of them. The bridge is clear.
So this is what the full map looks like, based on the tip that just popped up. But as I was saying, it looks like I have to go find the crown, and then I can use that to get to the Skeleton King and kill him. And once that happens, I'm not sure what's next.
I must wait to use that ability.
So I'm not sure I like this new ability. Think I might switch back to the roundhouse. Definitely seems like it was doing more damage or was more effective. So I'll put this one back for now. These guys are definitely doing a lot of damage. I've already used almost half of my health potions, so hopefully I don't run out.
The blacksmith apprentice is dead. I should tell Hatred when next we meet.
Totally missed on that one. Yeah, so I'm definitely liking the roundhouse better than that other ability. Maybe we'll try that one again in the future. Could be that I was just using it wrong. Looks like I was feared there for a minute. That's why like I was running away.
My injuries are less severe. My strides grow longer.
Feared again. So we're starting to get some decent equipment. I believe I had a new ability as well. There are 5 runes for each scale. Huh. So this is different. So it seems like each skill, depending on your level, you unlock a rune. And then you can choose which rune you want enabled. And then they all have different abilities. So it's modifiers for the different abilities. That's pretty cool. So I'm looking for the Cemetery of the Forsaken in the Weeping Hollow. So I'm in the Weeping Hollow, now I just need to find the cemetery. So the reason I'm not picking up all of the items that drop is just because some of them you can tell just by looking at what their name is that they're not going to be useful. So, and there's only a limited amount of inventory space. So sure, you can sell them, but if they're just regular common items, you're not going to get a whole lot for them anyway. And it looks like I have found the cemetery. Search for Chancellor's altar beneath Cemetery of the Forsaken. Let's unlock that.
During the last days of King Leoric's reign, even the skeletons of the ancient dead could not rest. They took up their broken armor and weapons once more, ready to cut down anything that yet drew breath.
When King Leoric came to court, he brought many nobles with him, and nobles, oddly enough, want noble crypts. So I showed up with my shovel, thinking to make easy profit by digging a few holes. Ha! There's no stopping their demands around here. Now, I eat, sleep, and breathe dirt.
Your flaws are revealed!
So nothing up there. Let's check over here. Now you can see here also what I meant about how everything takes up the same amount of inventory space, either 1 square or 2. So say some of these items, like the bow especially, in previous games would have taken up a lot more space than, say, a pair of gloves, whereas in here they're all the same, which is kind of nice because one thing that you could end up spending, I don't want to say a lot of time on, but more than it felt like you should have to, was just rearranging your inventory so you could fit stuff in it. And now you don't really have to do that. I'm sure you will have to do it some, but you don't have to do it nearly as much. So far, loving the improved graphics. The atmosphere looks amazing. Mobs so far are standard fare for the Diablo games. Zombies, skeletons, things like that. We'll see what kind of new stuff they've thrown in as we keep going, since it's usually the higher levels where you start to run into the really cool stuff.
The clown is near.
Looks like we have our first boss here.
I must wait to use that ability.
That wasn't too bad. Used the blind a few times. Definitely gonna have to start using that more often. And just a matter of use the kick to knock him down, and while he's down, take a few punches. So nothing special in terms of equipment.
The unburied are formed from human corpses that were flung into mass graves without a proper burial. This hideous amalgamation of bodies decomposes together into one being, bound by some foul magic. For all my knowledge, I could only flee from it, and I would expect any other sensible person to do the same.
So clearly we aren't sensible, since we're just running headfirst in. But that's what you do in these games. New record, 20 monsters killed. So I don't know what the time frame on that is, but it did pop up after only a few seconds of not killing anything. And looks like I have a new ability. So let's just make sure I grabbed all my stuff. Yep. Let's check this out. It's a rune. Release a torrent of fire that burns nearby enemies and causes knockback. Let's give it a shot.
No, I will not allow you to bring that monster Leoric back to this world.
So you can see the little ring of fire that shows up when I use that now. That's from the rune. Some new shoes. And looks like that's it, since I'm not using a shield. And it looks like a... Oh, that's nice. So, in previous games, if you were going to teleport back to town, you had to use a Scroll of Town portal, which meant in Diablo 1 you spent a pretty big, or a pretty large sum of money just buying town portals, so that way you always had some available. Diablo 2 is when they introduced the idea of tomes, so you had books that you could just carry around a whole bunch of scrolls in one book,
mean something.
but you still had to
As
have
you should.
a bunch of
You will
scrolls and you still had to
transform
pay
the
for them.
weapons with which to carry out my sacred duty. I have other news. Your apprentice is dead.
Fool boy. Hope for the worst and you will not be disappointed. Thank you for the news.
So, artisans, you have gained access to the blacksmith artisan. The blacksmith artisan can now forge new armor and weapons. He can also salvage unwanted items. So this made an appearance in the beta, but didn't really get a chance to really look at it. So train. Blacksmith level 1. Apprentice. Train the blacksmith to increase experience, learn new recipes, and level up. Rewards for training. Apprentice leather cuffs. Apprentice hide breeches. Train costs 2,000. Wow. Forge weapons. None of which are any better than what I've got now. Forge armor, which is also not better. And salvage. Break items down to crafting materials, the anvil, or left click the anvil and left click the item you should salvage. Warning, this will permanently destroy the item. So not everything can be salvaged. So I have 6 subtle essences. Obtained by using the blacksmith to salvage magic weapons and armor, artisans through the ages have relied on magic materials to enhance and create powerful items. Ah, and then I need that in order to do the crafting. Okay. So not gonna bother leveling him up just yet, since it doesn't look like he can make anything that'll actually help me. So I'll throw the stuff that I just got into my stash, and then the rest, all of this stuff, I'll just sell since I don't need it. So the whole crafting concept is definitely new. That looks like it could definitely get interesting as well, so we'll have to see how that plays out. But that was certainly not there before, and looks like it could get interesting, but we'll see. So no good armor available to buy, at least not yet. That's good, at least it looks it.
I worked my hands to the bone to bring you these fine.
Let's
I
talk
have
to
the
Deckard.
crown. Where is the Skeleton King?
At last. With it, you can unlock the sealed door in the room where you rescued me and enter the royal crypts. When you find the Skeleton King, place the crown atop his head and destroy him.
The Skeleton King lies at the heart of the imbalance in this land. I will end his reign and find the fallen star.
So looks like we're going back to the cathedral. So what I was saying before about the town portal is previously you had to use scrolls anytime you wanted to go to town. Doesn't look like you have to do that anymore, which will be nice if you just have this ability right here. Down into the cathedral. So I like being able to interact with the environment like that. So destroying barrels and stuff that you used to, that's always been there. That's nothing new or fancy. Having the passageways like that I believe is new. But being able to like knock down the wall like that, that's definitely new. and that's pretty cool. Got myself a hat. A pointy hat.
I don't have enough spirit.
So rooms like this should be familiar to anyone who's played Diablo before. Diablo has always had lots of rooms like that where you walk in and find yourself surrounded by dozens of enemies. Looks like this is a dead end, so we'll head back here. And it's definitely not good. So having the knockback on that kick is helpful also.
My name is Lakdanan, and I'm cursed. Once the captain of King Leoric's army, I lived only to honor my land and my king. No man has a greater love for his king than I had for mine, even as I drove my blade through his dark and corrupted heart.
So this was definitely the wrong direction, so I'll head back. Feels like there is more drops than there were in previous games. In terms of just random stuff lying around, like barrels that you can blow up, this, loose tiles, the bookshelves, and all of that. Of course, I could just be wrong about that since it's been probably 8 or 9 years since the last time I played Diablo 2. And now I feel old, realizing how long ago that was.
You are defeated.
Still nothing special in terms of equipment. Generally speaking, this early in the game, you're not going to get any equipment that's really all that fancy. That usually starts to show up a little bit later on. And of course, as I say that, I get a magical item. And 5 to 8 damage. Increase attack speed by 3, so doesn't seem like that's any better than the one we've got. So in terms of the monk, seems like he is melee with a little bit of range and very fast attack speed, which is an interesting combination.
I don't have enough spirit.
I do like the idea of having to use spirit and only getting it from attacking other monsters, because it means you can't just kind of sit there and spam your, you know, big powerful attacks over and over. You have to actually use one set of attacks to get the spirit so you can use your powerful ones.
I don't have enough spirit.
So like I said before, Diablo, always a fan of just putting you in a room with a crap ton of monsters running around and just trying to surround and overwhelm you. And it looks like I got something here. Magic belt, that is not any good, and a quiver, which I can't use because I don't use a bow. So, nothing useful.
It was Lazarus. Of that I am certain. He alone had the king's ear, and whispered dark and evil magics into it, instilling the notion of an imminent attack by Westmarch. Afraid to speak against the Archbishop, the councillors nodded their empty heads in agreement, and sent us off to die.
So I like the storytelling and the way they're doing that with the whole unlocking lore stuff. It's pretty cool so far. We'll see if they keep up with that or if it changes, but so far I'm liking it.
Maintain your incantations.
Your magic is weakening. I am free. Now, back to my mission.
Who are you?
You will know soon enough. Help me find my gear. I will reward you well. Tell me, what brought you to this infernal place?
I must destroy the Skeleton King.
Then our aims align.
So, looks like I found a little companion to help me out. Unfortunately, right now he's unarmed, so it's pretty much just me protecting him while we look for his stuff. Doesn't stop him from trying, though. So these casters look like they raise the skeletons up, so if we can kill them first, then it should make our life easier while I'm trying to kill the others. We're just basically dealing with an endless supply of zombies, or skeletons rather. So it doesn't look like his stuff is up here. Unless I just completely missed it. Okay. Not sure what's going on, but it looks like I just got disconnected. And thanks to the lovely new always on DRM, that means that I can't play right now. It's possible that the server crashed, so I'm gonna kill the stream real quick and take a look. It could be on my end, so I will be right back.